I lived through seeing our stock go to 333, and I watched it go to 42 cents.
In 2000, you lost $6 billion.
That wasn't the worst of it. That was just in one day. The worst of it was a couple years later when the stock had gone from $100 down to 42 cents. Calculate that's like 99.8% drawdown.
Michael Saylor, the founder and executive chairman of Strategy.
The world's largest corporate holder of Bitcoin and a leading voice in the future of digital capital markets.
Sell the kidney if you have to, but keep the Bitcoin.
The Bitcoin is a stronger form of capital preservation than your house, bar of gold, a bunch of silver. When it comes time to sell something else. Don't sell the thing that will make your children's children wealthy. I could have been the richest guy in Florida, but my great-great-great-grandfather wanted velvet in his horse and buggy. Dude, sell the horse and buggy. Keep the Bitcoin.
There is no second best crypto asset. There's only one crypto asset, and that's Bitcoin. You still believe the same?
I do. Human civilization settles on protocols. We're speaking English because all the rich, powerful people speak English. There is no second best language. The human civilization settles upon the highest powered money, and Bitcoin is the most thermodynamically sound because it's like worth $1.5 trillion.
Where do you think the Bitcoin price would be trading today if Michael Saylor never had his aha moment and didn't dedicate his life to buy?
Bitcoin has crashed to 74,300 DAOs, the largest two-week ETF outflow in months at $2.26 billion. And a prominent billionaire investor just announced he sold most of his Bitcoin because it failed to act as a hedge. But simultaneously, SpaceX disclosed a $1.9 billion Bitcoin stash in its IPO filing, the largest corporate Bitcoin disclosure since Strategy, and the SEC approved Nasdaq to list cash-settled Bitcoin index options for the first time ever. Michael Saylor watched his company's stock fall 99.8% from $333 to 42 cents and emerged to build the world's largest corporate Bitcoin treasury. And his framework for today is precise. Volatility is vitality, sell something else, and 7 months is a blink. Let's watch and discover.
Volatility.
I read that in 2000, you lost $6 billion of paper wealth. Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, that wasn't the worst of it. That was just in one day, right? That was one day, a bad day. No, the worst of it was a couple years later when the stock went from, it had gone from $100 down to $1, down to 80 cents, 60 cents, 50 cents, 48 cents, 46 cents, 42 cents. And we were, 3 days from bankruptcy, failing. So, that's, by the way, that's like, calculate that's like 99.8% drawdown. Okay. So, like, when people are like, oh, yeah, you're down 20%, are you stressed out? I'm like, no, I'm not stressed out. On October 6th, Bitcoin hit an all-time high. Okay, that's October, November, December, January, February, March, April. We're 7 months, 1 week, 7 months. You know how long it takes? Okay, so 7 months ago, we were an all-time high, and everybody's losing their mind and throwing in the towel and giving up. You know how long it takes to make a baby?
Bitcoin has fallen to $74,300, approaching the 50-day EMA support at $76,716 and testing the technical floor that has held every meaningful dip since the February 6th low. The two-week ETF outflow total has reached $2.26 billion, the largest sustained institutional exit from Bitcoin ETFs since January 2026. Fear and greed is back in extreme fear territory. Social media is flooded with capitulation posts, and a prominent billionaire investor, unnamed in initial reports but described as having significant institutional credibility, announced this week that he sold most of his Bitcoin, concluding it failed to act as a hedge during recent geopolitical turmoil and dollar weakness. This specific statement from the unnamed billionaire is the most instructive data point of the week, not because it is right, but because it is the classic error that Saylor's framework is specifically designed to identify and avoid: the billionaire's logic. Bitcoin should have risen when geopolitical risk rose and the dollar weakened. When it did not rise as expected, the asset failed its stated role, and selling was the rational response. This is the wrong model. Bitcoin is not a passive hedge that automatically rises on any geopolitical shock. It is a store of value that outperforms over multi-year time horizons against the structural debasement of fiat currency. The Iran war created a specific 7-month window of underperformance as the correlation 1 selling that accompanies any global liquidity shock hit Bitcoin alongside every other risk asset. Anyone who expected Bitcoin to rise 20% while oil spiked and global equity markets fell was applying the wrong model. Saylor's model, maximize Bitcoin per share over 7 years, not 7 months, is the correct one. The Billionaire sold at $74,300, Strategy bought at $66,385 average cost. One of them will be right in 4 years.
You said something in a podcast recently, that working hard is the worst advice you can get. You don't want to make money by being talented or working hard. Can you explain?
Heinlein had a quote. He said, you don't win wars by dying for your country. You win wars by making the other guy die for his country. You could also say, I don't want to be a martyr. I want to be a winner. You could also say, better to work smart, not hard. You could also imagine, do you want to be the dude, the 6'6" tall, 300-pound Hercules with a shovel? Or do you want to be, the ordinary person with a forklift? And the moral of John Henry, if you remember, John Henry was the strongest worker on the railroad, and he worked himself to death and his heart burst. And at some point, don't try to outwork a forklift. So, and you look at the modern era right now, you want to work smart, not hard. I've worked hard. I've worked 3,000 hours a year, 10 years in a row, done everything possible, and I have beat my head against the wall and made no progress. So I've lived it, and you want to do it, go take a shovel and start digging ditches, and don't get a Caterpillar tractor and don't use machines. You can just start walking across the country right now too, instead of using a car. It's like, I guess I would say, don't run fast, drive your car, right? And today the issue is use it to build a building. You keep 80% or 100% of the equity. You put the rest 80% of the building as debt. So maybe you have $1.1 billion building, and you find a way to raise $100 million of equity, and you have $1 billion of debt. And then the money supply expands at 7%, and the building increases at 7% a year. And that means after 10 years, the value of the building's doubled. So in 10 years, you have a $2.2 billion building, right? And maybe you've paid, a few $100 million in interest, but you've now made $400 million in equity. And so you made $400 million in 10 years, or $40 million a year, with other people's money, right? With intelligent financing. Every real estate developer who's ever been successful anywhere that you've read about used debt financing to do that. It's almost never an example where you see someone that says, oh yeah, I just kind of used equity and I just paid for it with my own money. With Bitcoin's been appreciating about 40% a year for the past 6 years. In 2020, 2021, you could have got a 30-year mortgage for 2.7%, or people got 2.5% mortgages. So imagine the government wants to give you money for 2.5%, and you can invest the money at 40%. If you could borrow $1 million, then you're getting 37.5% of $1 million a year. Okay, so you're getting paid $375,000 a year to do what? To borrow money from the government and buy a scarce asset. Okay, so how many people can make $375,000 a year after tax? How hard do you think you have to work, right? You have to make $700,000 a year in New York, or $800,000 a year in New York. So you can either work yourself.
SpaceX, Elon Musk's rocket and satellite company valued at approximately $340 billion, disclosed in its IPO filing a Bitcoin treasury position of approximately $1.29 billion. This is the largest corporate Bitcoin disclosure by any company outside of Strategy in the history of the asset class. SpaceX holds more Bitcoin than any public company except Strategy, and it has been holding it quietly without any public announcement until the mandatory IPO disclosure requirements forced the revelation. The market reaction was immediate. Bitcoin recovered from its session lows when the SpaceX disclosure hit financial news terminals as institutional investors processed the implication. The strategic significance of the SpaceX disclosure operates on multiple levels. First, it confirms that the world's most valuable private company, a company that Elon Musk has called the most important technological enterprise in human history, considers Bitcoin a core treasury asset rather than a speculative position. SpaceX does not make financial decisions casually. Its treasury management is overseen by some of the most sophisticated financial minds in Silicon Valley. $1.29 billion in Bitcoin is a deliberate, analyzed, long-term treasury decision. Second, it reveals that the corporate Bitcoin treasury playbook is being replicated by non-strategy companies at a scale that has not been publicly known. If SpaceX has $1.29 billion in Bitcoin without ever announcing it, how many other large private companies have undisclosed Bitcoin positions that will be revealed when they eventually pursue public listings? The SpaceX disclosure is not a singular event. It is the first visible part of a much larger corporate Bitcoin treasury ecosystem that operates invisibly until regulatory disclosure requirements make it visible. Michael Saylor's thesis that Bitcoin is the inevitable treasury reserve asset for sophisticated corporations is validated by the company that is literally sending rockets to Mars.
Out of that collapsing system, you can't buy any currency in a collapsing system. You can't buy a credit instrument or a bond in a collapsing system. You can't buy the real estate either, because the real estate is a derivative of the currency. And if no one's got any money in a collapsing economy, they won't be able to pay the rent, and the real estate won't have that much value. So you see this hyperinflation. It's come to Brazil. It's come to Argentina about once every 25 years. Every single currency in Africa has collapsed. The German currency collapsed a couple of times. Most currencies collapse. The most successful currency in the last 100 years is the US dollar. The US dollar has lost 99.9% of its value over the 100 years. And that's the best one. Okay. An acre of land in Miami Beach used to cost $10,000. The same acre of land costs $10 million today, maybe $20 million. So if you do the math, that's north of 7% collapse a year. And by the way, 7% doesn't sound that bad, but when you compound it over 100 years, and I tell you, you're going to start with $1,000 and you're going to end with $1. That's the best it's going to get. Now, if that's the best...
This is one of the top Michael Saylor memes. Do you still believe the same?
I do. I think Bitcoin is the dominant digital monetary network of the world. Human civilization, it settles on protocols. For example, with mathematics, there was Babylonian math. 360 degrees, 60s, 12, 24 hours. There was Greek math. There was Roman math, Roman numerals. So Arabic wasn't the first protocol. It was just the best. Arabic math, zero. It wasn't Greek. It wasn't Roman, right? Why are Christians in Northern Europe using Arabic math? Because it was a better protocol, right? And that's been good for 1,000 years. There is no second best math protocol, right? If you look at language, English, we're speaking English. Why? Because all the rich, powerful people speak English, because the British won the Napoleonic War. If Napoleon had won, we'd probably be speaking French. If the Russians had won, right, we'd be speaking Russian. Billions of people speak English. If you speak English, you'll get your message across better. You'll sell something at a higher price. You'll buy things at a lower price. More people will listen to you. You'll make more money. There is no second best language. It's the best language.
That's why this podcast is in English, even though my mother tongue is definitely not English.
It is what it is. And with Bitcoin, Bitcoin is digital capital, right? What you've got glass beads, you've got bales of tobacco. You know, in the biblical times, they used ox, cows, cattle as capital. You know, bushels of wheat. We've used bars of silver. You know, for a while, you know, I think India was on the silver standard. Then there was the gold standard. And at the end of the day, the human civilization settles upon the highest powered capital asset, the highest powered